Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Extinction Protocols, Preparing for Transitions. It is a series of messages to those who I believe are the true olive trees and lampstands, to those I believe represent true Yasharal from each of the 12 tribes of Yasharal and lampstand who will represent the assemblies. My brothers and sisters, today is May 10th, 2014. My name is Symmanayah, and if you are one who consider yourself an individual who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, Yahuwah, and accept that Yahusha is Messiah and that no man can come to the Father except by the sacrifice one who has resurrected and made atonement and made it possible for us to be restored into fellowship. If this describes you, I consider you my brothers and sisters. I consider you a part of olive trees and lampstands, true olive trees and golden lampstands, representing the children of obedience, representing the 144,000 multitude that will come out of the great tribulation. This segment of Extinction Protocols is entitled Math, Time, and Speed. Math, time, and speed. I will begin each segment with defining the word protocol. The word protocol is a system of rules that explains the correct conduct and procedures to be followed in formal situations. I submit to you these messages. This new series will prove to reflect necessary protocols as they relate to man's extinction, or could be worded as a time of transition. Let us learn that it is important for us to come to grips with the need to begin preparing for transitions. My brothers and sisters, as I said, this segment is entitled Math, Time, and Speed. Throughout scriptures, we have seen numbers used in diverse ways. We have witnessed numbers given to Noah as measurements for building the ark. We have witnessed numbers being used for the Moedim to measure the set-apart times. Numbers are used to count the days before Shabbat begins. Numbers can safely be described as part of the use in math, time, and speed throughout scriptures. End-time prophecies foretell of extreme times ahead. Specifically, I want to direct your attention to global warming, severe climate changes, extreme drought, which is fresh water shortage, increasing famine, food shortages, and a rise in pestilence and disease. Allow me to insert the following as I press forward into the segment entitled Math, Time, and Speed. Matthew 24:22 reads, "And if those days were not shortened, no flesh will be saved, but for the sake of the chosen ones, those days shall be shortened." Mark 13:20 reads similar. "And if the master had not shortened those days, no flesh would have been saved. But because of the chosen ones whom he chose, he shortened the days." I am compelled to believe the days have been shortened, and we have entered into the most challenging times of our life. Given what I mentioned regarding global warming, climate change, extreme drought, increasing famine, pestilence, and disease, consider these current and emerging conditions, my brothers and sisters. Are you aware the 10 largest states in the U.S., in the United States of America, the 10 largest states are in drought? Are you aware that Brazil, the largest country in South America, face extreme drought? Also, Australia, a continent, the smallest of all continents, is facing drought. Are you aware that the two largest continents on earth, Asia and Africa, in many major areas are facing drought? Now take a moment to do the math regarding the number of areas facing extreme drought. Now keep in mind, drought means very little or no fresh water at all. Now think and pray for a moment, ponder and reflect on everything you can possibly think of regarding the use of fresh water. I invite you to begin asking your closest of friends, as family members and individuals within your camps or groups or fellowship, to ponder on the uses of fresh water and make note of their response. I assure you, almost everyone will glaze over and omit some of the most critical uses of fresh water. Why? Because we have taken for granted this valuable resource. As I have mentioned in times past, there are 3 yet 4 critical things we need to survive from a natural perspective: fresh air, fresh water, food, and shelter, or a habitable place to live. Without fresh water, there would be little to no food at all, of which could result in the extinction of life as we know it. Let me add more math to this topic. Now, don't forget what I said about large states, countries, and continents facing extreme droughts. Consider that while drought is increasing across the globe like never before, across the planet like never before, witness at this magnitude, at the same time our population continues to grow well beyond 7.2 billion people. Remember, the more people that exist on the planet, the more fresh water, the more food is needed. My brothers and sisters, without fresh water, it is next to impossible to grow grains, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and other produce necessary for our consumption, let alone food for our livestock. Now let's consider how time is a very critical factor in the scheme of our survival. Growing crops for food, from seed to harvest, and getting them delivered to our plates could take in various instances as much as 3 to 6 months, if not longer. Even if drought ended, it will take time to replenish what have and will be depleted over the coming months within our prospective communities, states, countries, and continent. Scientists and world leaders are very much aware that we have reached what is known as peak food production, meaning our population is growing quicker than our ability to discover fresh water and produce enough food for everyone. Currently, as this message is presented, global warming and climate change are creating massive challenges with no real solution in sight from anyone except those of us who are aware that the Almighty Father Yahuwah has a plan. A plan since the dawn of the ages was and is in place. The majority of those walking the planet are unaware that our fresh air is threatened as CO2, carbon dioxide, and methane gas is increasing across the planet, increasing within our atmosphere. For your information, if our atmosphere continues to experience a rise in these gases, man will become extinct. If there was not, again, we will become extinct if there was not intervention from the Almighty Father Yahuwah. I have invited you to consider the math regarding the number of places facing extreme drought, the time it takes to grow food from seed to harvest, and now consider the speed of how fast and rapidly our planet is decaying. How fast living conditions on our planet are becoming worse and worse. If you begin to take a long, hard look at current conditions, do the math, consider the time, and be mindful of the speed, while paying close attention to scriptures, especially end-time prophecies, it should not take much to come to grips with the realities of current conditions. End times are here, and they are unfolding with a vengeance. The most humbling of times for man are emerging before our very eyes. There are words being circulated in news feeds such as never before, first time ever, peak level, depopulation, and a host of many other terms, phrases, and messages informing man that we have begun to move into extinction level events. While this information is not obvious as media distractions try to prevent and manage chaos from erupting prematurely, the news is available, the facts are accessible. and there are warnings that are being circulated. Unbelief will continue to have a significant role in the coming days. As I mentioned in the previous segment, unbelief will divide. My brothers and sisters, I believe with all my mind, body, and soul there will be a final exodus. I'm compelled to believe we must and will go through a refining process to bring about a unified group who will be known as the 144,000 in multitude, also known as the children of obedience, as well as true olive trees and lampstands, or golden lampstands. As extinction protocols are necessary, we will see the unbelieving reject this notion and turn away from believing. I strongly urge you to begin paying close attention, for we will see prices spike in food. Soon we will see this followed by empty shelves in grocery stores. We will begin to see restaurants and cafeterias and stores closed and businesses closed. It will lead to food distribution centers being raided by criminals, delivery trucks being hijacked. Roadways, railways, and airports and waterways will become congested as people will frantically begin to seek loved ones, a safe place, and more than anything, fresh food and water. It's time to wake up, my brothers and sisters. It's time to realize that we are being prepared for a final exodus, and that it is necessary in order to fulfill scriptures that tells us that we are not appointed to the wrath of the Almighty Father, in order to fulfill end-time scriptures and prophecies. If we don't wake up, and if these things were not to occur, we would be at risk of dying in the wake of these coming conditions. But I submit to you, trust the Most High, my brothers and sisters. There will be a final exodus. There will be a moment when we will witness a final gathering where we will be taken to a safe place and await the return of our Messiah, Yahushua. There will come a moment when the anti-Messiah, the false prophet, and their beast system will be enraged, and they will march against the children of obedience. And in these final moments, there will be the final intervention from the Almighty Father Yahuwah, and we will witness the return of Yahushua our Messiah. My brothers and sisters, the time of such events are not too far away. We have entered into the stages that will usher in the return of our Messiah. We will witness an emergence of chosen leaders led by the Spirit of Yahushua, as well as our final shepherds, whom I believe with all my mind, body, and soul, I am compelled to believe will be the two witnesses mentioned in Revelation. I believe they will be used by the Spirit of Yahushua to establish the true olive trees and golden lampstands. They will establish true Yasharal and the multitude who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father and accept Yahushua as Messiah. They will establish the children of obedience as one. They will represent us. Yes, my brothers and sisters, I believe the final shepherds of Yasharal are these two witnesses mentioned in Revelation 11 chapter. Pray, watch, pray some more, study and ask questions, but first and foremost, establish your mind, body, and soul to worship and obey the Almighty Father Yahuwah, and accept Yahushua as our Mashiach, as our Messiah. For soon and very soon, we will see leadership structure. We will see the presence of the two witnesses mentioned in Revelation 11 chapter. And in our departure to a safe place, we will witness that the man of sin will be revealed once we are gathered to that safe place. A storm is coming, my brothers and sisters, and it will intensify with each passing moment. Choose wisely whom you will serve. Seek earnestly to discern and understand what must and will be done. And keep in mind, those who will be among the 144,000 in multitude, those who will be the true olive trees and golden lampstands are being refined. Remember, math, time, and speed, for it is a critical time taking shape, unfolding before our eyes. So please consider strongly taking heed to adding up what is transpiring, considering the time and the speed of what's unfolding. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, I pray that you are able to endure until the very end. I pray that you continue to be encouraged and know that this plan belongs to the Most High. Until next time, continue to stay tuned as Extinction Protocol, preparing for transition, continues. Shalom, shalom, shalom.